tall on the outside. What kind of challenge are their receivers for you guys this week?
They're big body guys, guys who played a lot of football, that's made a lot of plays. So they have guys with experience. And, when you play against guys that are that big, they have a long catch radius. They can catch the ball away from their body and things like that. So it'll be a good test for us. It'll be a good test for us to kind of see where we're at and see our kids compete.
One or two of those guys that really stand out?
Yeah, they really have a cast of them. Obviously, number 10 is a great player. He had a lot of balls last week that he caught. Number 9, the experienced guy that's a transfer that also has a lot of catches. So, they have number 11, number 87. So it's a slew of them. But it'll be a good test.
What is the key when you're going up against the bigger, taller guys?
You just really got to trust your technique. You have to watch a lot of film and understand. They're going to tip certain things, and you got to be able to capitalize on them when you get an opportunity. So our guys know, there's a huge challenge for them. They were in watching film yesterday, and so I think they're excited about it.
You've got almost a full cast back there in the secondary. Nice to see all those guys getting back in the mix.
Yeah, we can't do as much individual now because we got a lot more people, but it's good to get all those guys back. And those guys are still battling rehab and doing things like that. But it's always good whenever you can get some guys back from injury and kind of get them playing as a unit again.
Creates a little bit of a logjam for you guys back there, and you've had Tanner Vallejo playing nickel. What do you do now that you kind of got everybody back?
We mix things up, and the one thing about it is those guys know that they can go out there and play hard because we got guys that we can put in. There was a few games this year that we were kind of thin, and so, you'd have 2 or 3 guys that had to play every snap of the game for the most part. And if you look at us last game, it was a good rotation. Guys were going in, keeping guys fresh, so we're excited.
Corey going to be going back and forth then now, or is he more of a safety now at this point? Or
we'll be moving those guys around. It'll be 2 or 3 guys playing 2 or 3 different spots. So we want to keep evolving as a defense, keep doing different things, and so we're going to continue to move guys around, and those kids are learning different spots, and they're having fun.
How's Cleve been since he got back?
Cleve's been fine. He's one thing we know about Cleve is he battles, so he's been doing fine. His first game back, obviously playing with the knee brace, he had to get used to that. That was different for him, but the kid comes out, he works every day. He wants to be great, and so we're excited to have him back.
How much did Jeremy actually get in play the other day?
Jeremy played over 30 snaps in the last game, so him and Corey Bell were about kind of on the same snap count.
First time he played in 4 or 5 weeks. How do you look out there?
He looked fine. The one thing about Jeremy is he's played a lot of football, so he understands the schemes. He still watches film, and so he went out there really, and his first day coming back to practice, he moved around fine. So we're glad to have him back. That's for sure.
How will it help getting some of DSG and Chancellor James and some of these guys extra playing time that maybe they didn't anticipate getting? How do you think that's helping now and moving forward?
Well, they get their feet wet early, and so they're able to go in and kind of get the first college game jitters out. And I think now those kids are used to it. They've played in a lot of games this season so far, so the game, hopefully it'll start to slow down for them, that they're able to recognize stuff a lot sooner. And so, we have no reservation of putting those guys in at any given time.
What kind of stands out about Dante Dion or makes him unique?
I think how competitive he is. The kid goes out there, he doesn't back down from anybody. He really wants to be great, and so he has a very high football IQ, and he understands concepts and scheme, and it's a pleasure coaching a guy like that.
We talk about injuries and stuff like that. I know that you guys don't really use it as an excuse, but for the athlete himself to kind of be in and out of the lineup, is it impressive? Because when he's in the lineup, it doesn't really show that he's been injured or anything like that or dealing with anything.
Are you talking about Dante?
Yeah, Dante specifically in his case.
Yeah, the guy missed some games, but, again, he's a guy who's been starting since a freshman, so he's played a lot of football. And so, when he misses one game, he still watches a lot of film. He still comes in and preps and does all the things. So, I wasn't surprised with how well he played after he came back. The kid's a great player.
How much have you had to limit him in practice, and how much has that set him back to not be able to go full-time in practice in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks?
He doesn't like when we limit him in practice, and that's what I like about him. But, at the same time, we have to be smart, and that's with all our guys, not just Dante. We got to be smart, and we got to get them smart reps when they need it. And then, if a guy's able to go the entire practice, he's able to go in the entire practice. So, for us, it's just getting those guys healthy and getting them to the game.
You look at his interceptions this year; they've all been kind of spectacular. Plays. I think 3 of them kind of took the ball away from the wide receiver. What's he do to get to the ball the way he does?
He just reads his keys and attacks the football. Really, you know, that's the one thing about all those guys. We're starting to make more plays on the ball, and we're starting to get interceptions. But the main thing is just read your keys and be aggressive. Those kids are really doing that. You know, you see some of the interceptions they made. You know, they've taken the ball from guys. They've been in the right spot because they've read their keys, and so it's exciting to watch. We like turnovers on defense.
He's a little different personality than a lot of the corners. It seems like over the years the corners are kind of got the stone face and they're mad at the world all the time because they're the corners. He's out there just big old smile on his face. It's a little different than your average corner.
Yeah, you have to be a little different to play corner. So you got to be able to take the good with the bad, and you got to understand that they're going to make plays at some time. But the one thing you got to do is you got to come back and you got to respond the next play. And I think for the most part our group's starting to do that. You know, there's been very few times where I've looked at a guy after they've hit a play and he was down on himself. You know, they know we got to have a short memory, and it's rough out there on the island.
A guy like Corey Bell, you know, he went from linebacker, you know, last year to nickel and then goes to safety. How have you seen him kind of adjust and perform when he's back there at safety?
You know, just like all those other guys, Corey Bell is a really smart football player, so he's a guy that we know we can count on, and to move him around and do different things. The kid's a sharp kid, so you know, when we had to move him to safety, we had some guys banged up. He took it all in stride. He started to study, came in, asked questions on his own. So, you know, the kid just shows how smart he is that he's able to play 3 different spots.
The numbers kind of show that, you know, when Dante is available, you guys are better against the pass. What does he offer when he is, you know, able to go and in the game for your defense?
I mean, he's a guy that goes in and makes plays. If you look at all the games he's played in this year, he's made a few big plays. You know, the last game, he got away from his technique a few times, and they hit a couple, and then you see him at the end of the game make a game-clinching interception. So, you know, I don't know if it's him in the lineup or the guys getting better as a whole. I think we're just starting to play a whole lot more football. You know, the first game of the year we gave up a lot of yards passing, and that team's pretty good. So, you know, we got to continue to develop and get better at our technique, and I think those kids are doing that.